Alrighty, folks. Let's go ahead and get things started here. Okay. What's up, everybody? How's it going? For some reason, I was trying to... Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I was trying to fix this, this little... Right here. This little chat thing going on. For some reason, I'm getting your guys' names, but I'm not getting your chats, which is strange and unwanted and unwarranted. How's it going, though, guys? How you doing? Everybody's here early. Not early. I guess you guys are on time. I'm late. Drazen will say otherwise, but I'll take that one. I'm a little bit late. How you guys doing today? There's a little bit of an impromptu, sort of unexpected surprise little stream here on YouTube we're going to do today. We're going to talk about what's sitting in front of me right here. In fact, let's go ahead and hop on over there. So we're... Oh, it's not there. Hold on one second. There we go. That should... Let's see why this isn't working. There we go. Alrighty. That's what we want. That's what we want. Okay, cool. So we're going to be working with this bad boy here. But before we get started, I'd like to say a couple of things. Am I 320p? Are you guys not seeing what is that? Good day for a stream this week. I want to do more of these weekend streams for you guys so everybody can hang out and see what's going on. Is the quality low? Is that what you're telling me? It should be okay. You should be seeing me at 720p. Yeah, 720. Okay, cool. Yeah, used to 1440. I probably should have done this one in 1080. In fact, we could... I can't change it right now, right? It's too late. Okay, anyways, let's get started. So we're going to talk today about everything that's going on in 2021. Actually, let me rephrase that. Not everything that's going on in 2021, because everything's not on the progress tracker yet. If you've been keeping up, the progress tracker has been posted onto the website, but it has not been posted in full. So there are two types of teams. They have different names in different places. The company refers to them differently. I consider them to be above the bar and below the bar. Above the bar being the more important kind of stuff, background tech that the whole game depends on, while below the bar is more kind of the easygoing stuff like, I don't know, elevator buttons. So today, because the progress tracker only has a certain group of stuff on the tracker right now, we're going to look at all the more easygoing kind of little things that we're going to see pop up this year. These are not guaranteed to be in the game this year. They are just being worked on. They're scheduled to be worked on. So I don't know if they'll actually be there, but we're going to try it out. We're going to see what is up and down this progress tracker, talk a little bit about it and what gets us excited. Unfortunately, yeah, server meshing is not on there. All right. So, it's a little low. Bear with me, guys. Don't really stream on YouTube very much. Is Hair V2 there? Oh man, you guys remember the not engine, what would you call it? I don't know, the hair tool that they were working on during the Tekia Pacheco sort of time period. I think it was mid 2019, I think. When they were talking about how she had like this special hair and they were working on the hair tool so that they could use it to make her hair do on top of, you know, everything else that we're going to do. And then like it's 2 years later now and just nothing. Obviously that wasn't that important at the time. They wanted to push that back to work on it at a different time. But I just thought that was funny because they were like, we might get it into this update, but it might slip to the next one. And then, well, I'm feeling a little bit orange on this side. So I'm going to change that light up a little bit real quick. Ooh, that's too much. That's way too much. There we go. That's better. That's just really bright. Okay. Maybe they can get hair to be like Cyberpunk 2077. Alrighty. So let's start at the actor feature team. We're not gonna like touch on everything. I'm gonna be a little selfish here and touch on mostly just the stuff that I'm interested in. but good news for you guys. That's basically everything. So we're gonna start here at the actor feature team. And you know, I was saying on Info Runners the other day, or was it so? I was saying live somewhere the other day that what interests me the most about this whole system is now we actually know what teams work on what. Like when they come on Star Citizen Live and they're like, oh yeah, I'm part of this team. These are the questions we're answering. Don't ask, like they're always like, oh, don't ask about gameplay. These are artists. Ask about art. But I'm always like, okay, but like how far does that go? Does that roll over into like, is the art for a weapon? Does that team talk about how the reload function is going to work or so? I never know, you know? So now you can see exactly what each team is working on. And when Star Citizen Live comes around, and you have to ask a certain team questions, you just come on here and you'd be like, okay, I can ask questions about this and this and this. Oh, and especially this. So I like that a lot about this. Actor refers to things that affect the player, much like Titan Squirrel has said. Thank you, Titan Squirrel, a voice of reason. So, I mean, look at the screen. Basically anything that has to do with interacting with other players. So we've got force reactions up here. Obviously, they're working on that some more because the first iteration is not complete. 0G push pull. That should be good fun. This is something that you'll be doing when your EVA thrusters run out of fuel. So you'll have compressed air in your EVA thrusters in the future, and if you run out, or if you're not loaded, or it's broken, or for whatever reason, maybe you don't have any, 0G push and pull is going to help you to get around outside of space stations, spaceships, whatever you need in order to move yourself manually. We've seen this actually in the Squadron 42 trailer. We saw them briefly like grab onto something. It was sort of the first time we've seen what essentially is going to be push and pull. I'm assuming this also will allow for push and pull of like objects. Yeah, it looks like it's just talking about 0G here, but I'm sure, yeah, this is specifically 0G push and pull. Player interaction experience. I don't know. There might be something else that's talking about moving things around on surfaces on like in real places, but we'll see if that's there. Personal inventory, I covered this on my video I released yesterday. Definitely go check that out. That's talking a little bit about the different ways we're going to be able to store things in the future now, talking about pockets, backpacks, and other things like that. Lockers, containers, all that kind of stuff. Physically storing stuff into those things as well, according to some other things being added this year. FPS radar and scanning, something I'm super excited about. This is going to completely change the game, I think. They'll be able to start adding in a lot more complications and missions and a lot more tasks for us to do in those missions that refer to just scanning or just finding out information. Things that we can't do right now that are kind of missing. They're like casual gameplay components that sort of add a couple minutes to a mission you don't really think about, but when they're missing, the mission doesn't feel as full. Cooperative locomotion is cool. So I guess this is what I was talking about. This allows you to grab other objects and move them around. This is your push and pull that's not 0G. Healing, pretty self-explanatory. We know that healing mechanics, medic mechanics are coming in this year. So that's going to be a good fun one. I'm sure that's going to be the beginning of that profession. And they did say that it was coming at the end of Q2, so it looks like they've at least got the work scheduled to end around there. But this, honestly, this doesn't seem like, if they were working on it up until the end of June, it wouldn't make it into the Q3 patch. So maybe they're scheduling it for Q4. Who knows? Yeah, this is a nice little sort of pipe, kind of, honestly, a little bit like a Gantt chart, in my opinion, which I love Gantt charts. Those are my babies. I love the way that they're organizing this, though. This looks really good. And it's interesting It seems that, okay, so when I've been looking at this, I see animation, engineering, and art as the three main, and design, the four main categories that seem to be getting work so far. And it can be different in different scenarios. Sometimes you'll see design work start, and then 2 months later you'll see animation start, and then the whole time you'll see engineering going. Sometimes you'll see design, and then that'll stop, and then engineering will go. It's interesting to see how the different teams are planned on picking up these different things. And it makes me wonder if... Well, I don't know what it makes me wonder. It does mean that you can't look at this, though, and expect it to work how we're seeing. There's clearly other stuff that's going to be happening and going on that they don't actually have on here, I think. Like, let's grab something like, no, that wouldn't be good. Maybe Orison V1. So, like, art and design is clearly going on here, right? But there's gonna be engineering at some point. And sometimes that'll pop up like later way down here, but it's not on the progress tracker here. So, like, this clearly isn't all the work that has to be done with Orison. There could be another thing, another entry for Orison somewhere in here as well. Orison, sorry. Always follow you and appreciate, but why here have not written a translate? Are you asking if I can translate the stuff that I make? Because that is, I would love to, but for starters, I'm not bilingual. I'm working on it. My wife is Turkish, but also, that's a lot of work. You could hire somebody to do that, but I don't have the time to translate everything right now. Are we seeing anything about NPC pathfinding? Huh. I don't remember seeing anything about that. I would have... Where would that be? So the one thing that I don't like about this design is how it's all collapsed. So if I want to find something, let's say I want to find pathfinding. Obviously that's not there. Let's say I want to find... Gosh, what would be a good example? I haven't looked at this nearly enough. Are they done with planning week? Probably not. Planning week usually turns into planning month, right? So let's say I wanted to find... This is fire extinguisher. Let's say I wanted to find hazard system, right? So hazard system. It takes me to where it is in the roadmap, or the progress tracker. It shows me the actual location it is. But as you can see, I don't actually know where in here it pops up. And if this is collapsed and I say hazard tracker, boom, it's gone. Or hazard system, sorry. That is tough. It's hard to find things in here if you don't know they're already there. So studying this is going to be a big part of my year. But there are a couple things about this progress tracker that could be a little bit different. But I like it overall. As you can see, like I was talking about here, animation, and then it keeps going and design picks up as well. So, yeah. Progress tracker, in my mind, is a cool and a good idea for some of the reasons I've already said. And also just for the main reason that now we know what the priority is. Like, we don't treat this as a release schedule, but we know what they're working on. We know what they want to work on. And that's definitely more transparent than they were before. Before they would kind of keep all this stuff hidden, except for the big things, and some of the small things. Certainly this is just our version of the schedule and not the active one they use. They have told us this is taking information directly from their internal schedule. Obviously this is going to be stripped down of details, but as far as scheduling goes, the teams that are assigned and stuff like that, yeah, the format, I think, yeah, is not what they're actually using. This isn't nearly... I would... if this was an internal business tool and it was formatted exactly like this, I'd be a little... I'd be like, eh. Unless I had something else to complement it. If you have complementary services, then this is like a solid thing to have up on your maybe second monitor or fifth. Search feature is coming. Okay, that's cool. You wanted to ask about the Aaron Halo belt. So yeah, ask me what do you want to know about the Aaron Halo belt? Mostly into the industry area, trading, mining, refining. By the way, guys, yeah, you can ask me in chat if there's something that you want to see, and I can look it up for you. So we're looking at, you're talking about mining, industry, stuff like that. Harvestables, minables. This will be important for specifically for looting, as it says here, for finally being able to go to a place and expect there to be stuff for you to pick up and take back with you. That should make things a lot better for people who want to go on missions but don't feel like they're not engaging enough, they're not different enough, there's no reward, the UE season got not good enough. So a looting function is good, but not necessarily the industry you're looking for. I haven't seen anything about creatures or animals either, but we'll keep an eye out for that. Love the shirt. Thank you. This is a business tomat. He is a member of the tomato family. In fact, you can see him. Oh, he's not in the emotes here. He's an emote available over on Twitch, not here on YouTube, but you can buy these down in the video description. I have plenty of merch. We have shirts, we have hoodies. I have a mouse pad here. In fact, it's massive, but I have a mouse pad. We have all kinds of stuff. So if you want to wear the tomato merch, we're thinking about starting up a line actually with just tomatoes doing things. Not streaming on Twitch, yeah. I wanna give everybody a little bit of exposure, you know. We're gonna do a little bit of Twitch streams, mostly Twitch streams, but occasionally the YouTube stream here and there. Vehicle content team, would they have anything industry? Talk about the mop and bucket. All right, we'll take a quick where is that? We'll take a quick detour through the land of mop and bucket. 19 weeks of work. 19 weeks to enable AI janitors to use tools in either hand. And you see what I say? Animation's going on here, and then work on it stops for a month, and then engineering picks up. Because clearly this team was working on something else in that month. And so that could be happening all throughout this, and we don't actually know. Mop and bucket. Hold on, guys. I got you. Let me set you up. Let me show you what that's referring to here. All right, so what we're looking at when we talk about mop and bucket is... No, he hadn't left. You don't leave the ship yet. I think this is after you meet. Yeah, there we go. Come on. Mop. And... when you're walking through the ship. I should know exactly where it is with all this freaking reviewing stuff I've been doing. Where is it, guys? Where is it? Early in the tour. I thought it was after he met with in the bridge. That's a long conversation. Yeah, so he went to the bridge. And then he comes downstairs. He's walking through the ship. When descending the stairs. I don't think I'm going to be able to find this. I remember this being such a easier to find scene. Anyways, there is a scene here in the, there it is. Here it is. Mop and bucket. This is what they're about to spend 19 weeks to work on for us. Count your blessings, folks.
Best thing about everyone being at battle stations, lets me really clean without people getting in the way.
Well, then we're gonna go ahead and plug in quite a bit of work to make sure you can continue to do that, sir. Time well spent. I'm not complaining about it. I just think it's incredibly funny. It is like like Drazen said, it is a lot like the bartender thing. It's like, all right, but, and I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I know the bartender is the back end for all the other NPC. I don't want to hear it. All right. I know it. I've been told it so many times. So let's get back to what we were doing before the mop and bucket extravaganza. And guys, if you're liking this in any way, whether you're watching this live or you're watching it over on YouTube after the fact, we do this all the time. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and some Saturdays over on Twitch. We play the game, yeah, but we do a lot of talking about what's coming up in the game and what's going on. It's sort of just a back and forth session, and people can always jump into Discord and talk with me in real life, or in voice. So we're generally this casual. I've had a lot of people jump into my Twitch and be like, the YouTube feels really, I don't know if I can, like, it's a lot. And I'm like, come to Twitch. It's a lot more standard over there. Also, I'm gonna zoom this in a little bit and then tip this up. I didn't get to do my camera before I started. So forgive me. It's not in the right position. Oh, sorry guys. Get to see like my whole childhood bedroom behind me. Make your living in SC picking up trash from drug houses? Oh, that's solid. Do you like sell that trash afterward? Or is that just do you just pick up the trash and keep it? By the way, somebody asked me what you could call me. Call me Tomato or Tomat. This guy, we call him Business Tomat. We're gonna have other tomats. Anyways, way distracted. Let's get back to looking for industry, yeah? I know it's on here. I mean, obviously, like I said yesterday in my recent video, salvage is coming. So if I search for salvage, it literally doesn't pop up. So, never mind. I guess it's just gone. Salvage, gone from the progress tracker. Data missions and MSR functionality. Data? Yes. So, for starters, hacking is going to be worked on towards the end of the year? No, towards the beginning of the year. Yeah, hacking is being worked on now for Q1. Oh yeah, that's right. It's in the roadmap. But there's also, let's go to the missions section. Here we go, live missions. And if we look, then we will, there we go, counterfeiting and data download missions. So I talked a little bit about this on that video as well. This is only seeing design work this year. And a freaking lot of design work. Holy crap. Though in the entire year, they'll be designing these missions. So 50 weeks of design. This could mean a couple of things. This could mean, A, these missions are going to be incredibly applied. They're going to require a lot more new tech being brought into the game to allow them to happen. So missions unlike anything we've experienced so far, but these are also going to be, this could also mean that they're going to have multiple data type missions coming out. And this is just what the design team is doing. Meanwhile, you know, art, engineering, they're coming in here, they're finishing up one mission in Q2, 2 missions in Q3, 3 missions in Q4. We don't exactly know what really is going on there, just that data download missions are being used. So that very well could lead to data storage as well. So this design phase could also include the design phase of data storage, but I think they would break that out on its own. You didn't miss much. Don't worry about it. We started out going linear down this list and then immediately jumped into just jumping around because it's too long. It's too overwhelming to go over all in one go by yourself. What else will the MSR be able to do? That is a little outside the topic, but we will say that the MSR, I mean, it's planned to be able to scan and transport data and cargo. That's essentially what it's best for. It is a hauler. It is a very good multi-purpose hauler. Let's see. What's something that I am particularly excited about on this list? Scanning. I've made videos about it. This is honestly what a lot of my reason for getting Star Citizen is counting on, is scanning gameplay. So I'm really excited that they're working on this, and it's going to be working on foot too. So we're getting, this is just the vehicle radar scanning, but if you go all the way back up to the top, you'll see that they have FPS radar and scanning here as well. And I believe there's one more card on here for scanning, basically just saying, oh yeah, we're doing scanning for FPS, vehicle, and your ship. And like, oh, thank God. How sick are you guys of like getting on a moon? I don't know, this may be a more rare occurrence. This may just be me. You get on a moon and your ship crashes or you blow up or something, and you're on the moon and you know that there's a base near you that you could walk to and you have no idea how to get to it. No clue. It doesn't pop up on the horizon for you to follow. You can't look at a small detailed map that shows you, 50 kilometers or something. Like there's just no way of navigating. Even when we want to go find something like the space station, that new military space station, we're like, okay, it's this far from this planet and this far from this planet. Okay, when you get to this planet, like turn around and jump out of your ship. Like it's hard to get around in this game. So scanning goes in line with the star map that they're working on. And yes, I can confirm they are working on a new star map. So those two things combined. Can you guys imagine? And then like to put the cherry on top, somewhere in here, we've got a new quantum UI. There it is. Yeah. So we're going to get a new quantum UI. This is something, again, I talked about on the video I released yesterday, but a new quantum UI, that means that the elements are going to line up. It also means that we might actually see new sound effects. I'm really hoping we see something to match Elite Dangerous. But we could see new sound effects, at least inside the ship. This doesn't mean that they're reworking the entire quantum system. We'll have to wait, I think, a little bit longer for that. But when they do that, I really hope they retool the entry and exit effects when it comes to quantum. I really do. Am I more excited for the MMO or single player? Am I more excited for Star Citizen or Squadron 42? I'm more excited for Squadron 42. That's why I backed it. Or sorry, I'm more excited for Star Citizen. That's why I backed it. I'm ready to live a life in space. I'm a sci-fi nerd. That's what I want to do. I love a good space opera. I'm super excited for Squadron 42, but I'm more into Star Citizen. And the star map, I think, will look differently. Obviously, I can't confirm that. It's not a fact. But they did say they were working on the star map and that they were rebuilding it in 3D or in building blocks. So I believe that we will be getting a new star map. And it will be nice. Stop. I don't want to sing anymore. It's stuck. There we go. So I think that, yeah, it will look different. And I think it'll function differently too. In fact, if you look way back in when they used to talk about our the UI that they were working on before building blocks came around, they talked about and in fact showed filters in things like not star maps, but like other menus and stuff like that to show that they definitely want things to be filtered. Let me pull up a concept image for you guys real quick. I have a lot of concept art that I want to look at with you guys. I collect. Because A, I use them a lot in my thumbnails and videos, but also B, because they're very thought-provoking. A lot of the concept art that we see is stuff that's not in the game, and it's very interesting to see it and wonder if, is that what it's going to look like? Is that what they want to do? So here's a mock-up. This is a mock-up of a star map. That clearly it won't look this good in the game. I mean, maybe it will actually. It could look this good in the game. This looks like in-game assets. It has that same style that they use, this sort of glowing blue box with the little background blurred out, but this looks really good. And you can see like they've got a ton of data. They've got tabs that they've got filters, identifiable pictures for filters. This stuff, it doesn't even have to look like this, but to see that they know that this is what we want and this is the direction we're going to move in, I'm really hoping this is what they're working on behind the scenes. Yeah, if they're dedicating, a year's worth of time to a map, I want it to look like this. And if I'm going to be using it every single day, or let's say every other day for years, I want it to be pleasant. So hopefully it does look like that. Sorry, real quick. Alrighty, so going from there, this is CIG, not Ubisoft. True. I will admit those gas clouds. The new gas clouds are looking as good as they've been showing. I really like them. Alrighty. So let's see. I said I was into scanning and the UI. Yeah, you guys in chat, you're saying that it looked kind of like the ship. It looked like it was on a ship, that picture. I do agree. It kind of looked like, whoopsies. Don't mind that. I agree. It does look like you're sitting in like a navigation center or maybe a cockpit. This is most definitely, this would be a navigator's kiosk or post, whatever you want to call it. This is not the Mobi-Glass, but I do expect the Mobi-Glass to share a lot of similarities with this. I don't think they would go through a ton of effort and make multiple different. They already have to make a map for the big globes and the capital ships. I think the smaller one will probably look pretty similar to the Mobi-Glass. Just more detail, more space, and probably some more functionality. Shield emitters is something on the roadmap or on the progress tracker that I did not expect. Did anybody else expect this? Shield emitters, physical objects on the ship that are... I expected there to be the shield component that you could shoot out to disable shields. But this sounds like a small, maybe puck or something on the outside of the ships that literally make the shield come out of them. And if you're able to disable that, whether that be through ship fire, through hacking, through EMP, through FPS fire on the ground or something, a sniper rifle. Maybe you could take these out with small arms fire that can break through the shield without having to fully destroy it and take out the shield from the inside. That kind of gameplay opportunity for something like this is so specific and detailed, and I'm blown away that they're even working on this. It's cool. It's very cool, and I'm very excited for it. But God, the detail. I'm not sure if I have any pictures for something like that. The closest thing... I think I've seen something that looks kind of like it, actually. In the same place that I found this picture. Which is kind of showing, I think this might be a power... This isn't a power system. I'm not sure what this is, but this is showing the pipe system, I guess. Wherever I found this picture, I think I remember something like shield components. Hold on. Because this is... They've mentioned it before? Okay. Yeah, I do not remember ever hearing about it, but I believe I've seen... Yeah, this. Is this a shield emitter? I'm not sure. I always thought this was... It says the emitter is inside this. So this could very well... This is the shield generator. I'm not sure this is the emitter, but I think this is kind of what they were thinking. Something like a small version of this would be on the outside of ships. Maybe something like this would be on the outside of a javelin. But these sort of things that sit on the outside of a ship and basically make the shield come out, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool and unexpected. Control surfaces, these were meant to be worked on for the new flight model. Vehicle names and serial numbers, I know y'all are pumped for that. We have, people are very excited for that. What's up, Aaron? Let's see. Base mines and bombs, ship CPU. This is a big one. This probably should have gone on the video I made yesterday. This should have been point number 10. Same thing when you shoot, you will be... I don't know how they are going to sort out hitboxes for stuff like that. Hitboxes will be difficult, but they're gonna have to be precise. I mean, they spend a lot of resources on the ship, so I have no doubt they're gonna make them very precise, but they'll have to figure it out in terms of optimizing it. So ship CPU is, yeah, I definitely should have had this on the other video. This is a big deal. This is going to allow us to use blades in our ships. We haven't known too much about blades other than the fact that they allow you to add additional perks. We'll call them perks. They're not perks. They're like they're programs. Well, programs that run in your ship and help you do things. This one will help you to identify specific components on other ships. This one will help you to detect gases that are outside of the normal range. This one will automatically put out fires on your ship. This one will pick up extra transmissions. They're different physical blades, discs that go into your computer, and they control different functions in your ship. Things like, yes, like in chat, turrets, scanners, emergency systems, all that kind of stuff. And that's what this ship CPU is doing. Designing and implementing computer blades for ships includes various blades that can be used to modify or improve certain aspects of a ship's functionality, such as unlocking more complex targeting abilities. So that will probably be the first application, is just targeting. But this is a very big deal, and as you can see, it's taken a lot of work. Almost 3/4 of work. Or I guess 2/4, since they're not doing anything here. But this is going to completely change the way we use our ships in the long term. There's a really good talk about this. They talked about this during what was supposed to be CitizenCon, correct? A few months ago, they talked a little bit more in detail about this, and it sounded like a bigger deal than I thought it was originally. I'll do a video on this at some point this year for you guys. Better ship way to AI. That's a good way to describe it. Alexa for ships. I prefer Google. Alexa keeps dropping the ball on me. We have an Echo here, and we have a couple Google Homes. And man, the Alexa just sometimes... We tried to set an alarm yesterday with Siri, and I was surprised at how much trouble she had. Like, these things have been around for years. Fuel scooping and mining has always been interesting, as we do scoop fuel technically now, but it's a very tier 0 application of it. And I think fuel scooping and mixing, oh, that's in mixing, not mining. Fuel scooping and mixing, I think, is probably going to be somebody's career path. It's not mining. You kind of could call it gas mining. But I definitely think this could be a career path. Doesn't Elite Dangerous have people who do this? I guess they do this and then they go and refuel people. The fuel rats. But there could be a group of people who are completely dedicated to just fuel scooping, mixing those fuels to try and find the best combination to get the most fuel, quantum fuel or hydrogen fuel out of or something. And then you got ships like the 100 series from Origin, who have built-in refineries that are able to scoop fuels that other people couldn't. Is this where that's going to be applied to? Is this first application of this going to go in the 100 series? Or is this going to be more standard? Sir Fuel mix a lot. So that's another, actually, that's another interesting one. It's not quite, I don't think it's game-changing, but I do think it's going to be very noticeable. Cries and Starfarer. Yeah, so the Starfarer is the place to go for refining and mixing fuels. The 100 series they just sort of threw that in as an extra perk, but the Starfarer, I don't know if that's where they're going to introduce the gameplay aspects because they usually do it on the smaller ships, but the Starfarer will definitely benefit from fuel scooping and mixing. Hopefully we see also refining coming in shortly after that. Ship refining, of course. Or just gas refining in the stations would be cool too. Animated dashboard. This is going to be pretty fun. This goes in line with HUD improvements. If we can find those. So we got player interaction experience, visor, HUD, and helmet, which is not necessarily the same thing. It looks like the vehicle scanning is also going to factor into the HUD improvements. So there's a lot going on with the HUD this year. Looks like the hacking interface is going to sit on top of the HUD. Scanning is going to sit on top of the HUD. Player interaction experience and visor HUD. There's a lot going on with the HUD this year. One of which obviously being, like I said, scanning and whatever it was I was just looking at, which is now gone. Oh, the dashboard, right. So the dashboard kind of is part of the ship HUD. But it seems like there's a lot going on with interfaces this year. Because of building blocks, we got stuff going on with the HUDs, we got stuff going on with the mobiGlas, we've also got stuff going on with MFDs and ship stuff. I don't know if they specifically say MFD. Yeah, here it is, MFD rework. And you guys have seen that as well. We've seen the new and improved MFDs. They're sort of red themed. In the Gladius, which I'm guessing is maybe the Aegis brand for their computer screens and stuff like that, but they are doing the MFDs, which it was on the video yesterday. It's another game changer. The MFDs are just horrible. I was kind to them in the video. I said that Star Citizen has a complicated relationship with UI. Honestly, some of the UIs in this game are freaking garbage. Not necessarily because they're designed poorly, just because we have all of these glitches that make them not work correctly. Are there weapons depot ships? You mean ships that are dedicated to just carrying weapons, or like gunships that will be essentially just used to shoot other people down? You could sell weapons out of there. Capacitors. That's another one that did not make the video yesterday. Capacitors are going to be pretty cool. I don't actually know much about capacitors. So they're big when it comes to the power system, which is, in my opinion, one of the biggest systems in the game. The power system is, to me, as relevant as something like the gas cloud system, the planetary gas cloud system. Like, we need it. No, it's more important than that. The power system, well, let me just describe it. The power system is basically, you guys remember that video that we saw? God, let me pull it up. Capacitors would be consumables to the power plant. Yeah, I think capacitors are subcomponents. Hey, that's me. Hey, that's also me. And me. It's weird how I show up when I search for something that I report on. So it's gonna be... Which one was it? Which one was it? Which one is it? This one. You guys remember this here? All this? This is essentially... here's your boy. What was his name? Dan Truffin, that's right. Here's your boy Dan Truffin describing how the engineering... Sorry, probably. This is your boy describing how the engineering gameplay is going to work in the game. Capacitors will be just used to store energy when needed. Okay, so I guess I'm wrong about capacitors. I thought capacitors were going to be something that functions inside of the power... Jesus, the power system... the engineering gameplay. I figured capacitors would be the subcomponents to things like your power systems and your batteries, and they would have to be constantly used to recharge, but actually capacitors are used in multiple things. So you got thrusters here. We've also got capacitors for weapons, shields. So you probably are correct. They store power for these items. Players will have the ability to manage the amount of extra energy that goes into the weapons, making critical decisions on the distribution of energy in order to defend, attack, or just run away. So they may not work with the engineering system overall, but I do think they will factor into this in the sense that you won't be able to use them. They won't be getting power if you don't keep your relays running and your power system clean and below capacity. So capacitors will be a big part of, I guess they'll be a part of the engineering gameplay because they're emergency power. The engineer will have to be able to tap into them whenever the ship is under duress. Chris Roberts did a whole essay on the system. I need to look that up. I need to go read up on that because I don't actually know capacitors that well. It looks like there's a little bit of discussion about it. So I'll go do some research on that, and then maybe I'll, maybe I'll make a video on that. Make a video on the capacitors. Let's look for... I'm excited for the MISC. The MISC will be pretty cool. I hope the MISC series comes in. I don't think we're going to see the MISC series until the cargo system is overhauled. But I believe they're working on that too, are they not? Cargo system refactor or something like that. Xi'an cargo. Cargo door. Oh, come on. Weren't they working on a... I swear there was a cargo... Something cargo related. Xi'an cargo. There basically has to be. There has to be, because the whole series and even the Starlifter honestly are going to have trouble being balanced if we don't have a cargo system that allows for larger cargo packages and a more robust cargo hauling system that calls for more play, timers for the cargo, more dynamic pricing, the ability to not buy an entire outpost's worth of cargo. A link to the progress tracker in the description. Sure, let me drop that in real quick for you. Can I even edit the description right now? I might have to do that afterward. Unfortunately, it looks like I can't do it right now. But if you want to follow along, here's the progress tracker. I'm dropping it in chat for you guys. I saw another question up here. What are my thoughts on that tiny Xi'an cargo ship? So, the Xi'an cargo ship is... I'm guessing this is just... They feel like they need to have all of the races being actively worked on. At this point, they clearly, we have the Defender, we've got the Banu Merchantman coming at some point, we've got all the Vanduul vehicles we already have from Hesperia, as well as a couple from Vanduul. We have Tavaran ships. We don't have anything from Xi'an. All we have is some technology from the Xi'an that have gone into ships, things like the Razor or the Reliant series, or the Nox. This is going to be the first actual Xi'an thing in the game, and I think, we don't have Kurthak as well. Good call. But we don't know anything. We in lore, we don't know anything about Kurthak. Oh, we do have the Kar-2. You're right. We have the Kar-2, and we also have the Santok-Yai. So we do have some Xi'an ships. I am completely wrong. That theory is going out the window. I guess they're just trying to expand the Xi'an portfolio. I was thinking maybe this was their venture into the Xi'an world, but we do have Xi'an ships already flyable. So I'm not sure why this would be necessary right now, other than the idea that they just want it. Maybe it's in Squadron 42. I kind of doubt it, since they're only doing the art phase this year. But maybe that's it. They just want to get the art phase done. And then next year they can start to work on design and engineering. But I think it's cool. I think it'll be really fun because they really want new designs. I mean, we already have tons of designs, right? We have tons of manufacturers, but I am a glutton for new spaceships. So I love the idea that we're going to see something with a brand new design style coming into the game. And it'll be interesting to see how the Xi'an do cargo. So they got all the moving bits and all the the pretty things. I don't think the Nomad was the Xi'an ship. I know a lot of people have that as their theory. I think it holds some merit. I can see where they're coming from, but I don't think that the Nomad was originally supposed to be that Xi'an ship. I think the Xi'an ship was always planned on being larger. But you did say it was small. You said that small Xi'an cargo ship. Did they say it was going to be pretty small? I've always been thinking it was going to be something to compete with the Connie in terms of carrying capacity. While I love the idea of new ships, rather, Sergeant Donut loves the idea of new ships, but they need to focus on expanding core gameplay loops and adding an essential tech. Right. I know I get where you're coming from. I really do, because I agree. But at this point, I don't think anybody needs to say that anymore. I mean, look at how much stuff is on this progress tracker. This is a lot of stuff. This is a ton of items, a ton of features. And then you look at how much of this is dedicated to ships. And honestly, I mean, even these parts that are dedicated to ships aren't dedicated to just ships. They're dedicated to attachments, deployables, vehicle support, degradation on the hull, capacitors. They're not really working on that many ships in the greater scheme of things compared to the amount of features they're working on. Ships are very small. And so while I get what you're saying, like, they need to continue to work on gameplay and not just on ships, I think at this point they've made it pretty clear that they're not preferring ships over gameplay. They're definitely in combination. They're just working on different stuff. They did say it was a small ship, that Xi'an cargo ship. Starter cargo. Okay, that's interesting. I did not know it was going to be that small. Thought it was marked as Squadron 42 work. Oh, is it? I didn't even notice that. I gotta go back to that. Look at that. Yeah, Squadron 42 art. I guess that is why they're working on it. And that's why it's art. Okay, so we're not going to actually ever be on this ship. This ship might not be flyable. At least not in the near term. They might just be working on this as art, as an asset in Squadron 42. Which then makes sense. They're not necessarily... They might not be working on this ship to be something that's flyable or important for Squadron 42, but rather just as an art asset that maybe gets blown up. Maybe it's crashed. Maybe it's a derelict that we have to go inside of. We don't necessarily know. If it's a small cargo ship, it won't really be that useful in the system, so it's probably just a couple minutes. And they've also got a ton of Squadron 42 gameplay work going on. I mean, they have the design work, the engineering, the artwork. Looks like everything in this phase, right? FPS design, flight. So this is probably more like engineering and stuff. Nope, more design. So like clearly they are doing a lot of work as well. I hope the performance improves as well in the game. So that's what's coming next. I said before that progress tracker is broken out into sections. We got this sort of early phase first, which is a really big early phase, but we got this to look at, and they're going to show us sort of what they would like to do with the back end stuff. We're getting what I called above the bar, sort of the important stuff: iCache, server meshing, physics grids, all that sort of really dense back-end stuff, and more teams. There are just more teams they need to add to this, and that's when we'll start to see what their plans are in terms of optimization and performance when it comes to the game. I don't think we're going to get any one update that does all of it, but I do think we'll start to see some improvements, maybe not this year, but next year, in terms of starting to optimize things a little bit more. The Reliant could use a rework. Didn't they just rework or release the Reliant variants a couple years ago? I guess every ship is going to need some pretty significant updates, probably in like 2 years or so, or a year. I don't know if there is a single ship that's been released so far that's not going to need some specific significant update, besides maybe the Mercury Star Runner. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Starlifter will be. I don't know. They're going gold with a couple ships this year, so maybe those are the first ships really that won't need a significant work on them. I think it's the Gladius and the Retaliator, the Squadron 42 ships. They specifically said they need to add a new door to the Mercury Star Runner. Where did they say that? Or rather, where did they say the door needs to be added? Also, hello to Spain. How you guys doing over there? Late at night. Guess it's not late. What is it? 9 o'clock for you guys right now? The Hull A is the smallest Hull series ship. Oh, how about Nyx? Nyx! Oh, they're going to put a second entry on the Mercury Star Runner? I don't know how I feel about that. I think a docking collar would be good, but I don't know how about a second door entrance. That doesn't... I don't know. It's not that big of a ship. I don't know. Okay, yeah, over in Germany it's 9 p.m. Yeah, what's up, Europe? How you guys doing? I'll be over with you guys in a couple weeks, going back to Turkey at the end of the month. Or, I guess, midway through the month. Yeah, so Nyx. Nyx, baby. Nyx. Let's talk about Nyx and that. Did you guys expect that? I wasn't really expecting to see Nyx in the progress tracker yet. I thought we would start to hear about Nyx in 22, which maybe we would have if we didn't get this progress tracker. So I don't think they're going to release it this year. They're definitely not releasing Nyx this year. So actually probably would have not heard about this if they stuck with the normal roadmap. So they're working on 3 of the Nyx planets this year. Nyx 2, Nyx 1, and Nyx 3. Nyx is a very simple system. It is a smaller system, and it is a mostly empty system when it comes to humans or things. Nyx, as we all know, and if you don't, then I would like to introduce you, is the resting place for the Daymar landing zone, where we already go in Stanton. So the Daymar landing zone is actually supposed to be in the Nyx system, which is, here we go, which you can see right here. You've got several jump points here. We're going to jump in Pyro, which is going to be the connecting factor. But we've also got jumps into Bremen, Castra, and Virgil, and Odin, and Toil. There's a lot of jump points in this system. So it's not necessarily super important to us now, but it will be incredibly important in the future when we start getting more systems, because this one is definitely going to be... It's definitely going to be a place that we traverse through a lot, and it's also the connecting. So for those of you who don't know, the single player Squadron 42 campaign is taking place in the Odin system. The Odin system will be where we spend most, I think, like 80% of our time in that campaign, I think. So that's an important system as well, and that could mean that once they're done with Nyx, they can open an expansion, a quick link, that takes them right over to Odin, And just like that, I'm sure there's not much more work that would need to do to prepare Odin for Star Citizen after it's been in Squadron 42. Maybe a couple months work. So after Squadron 42 releases, let's say a year and a half, 2 years, I don't know, 3 years, 2.5 years, whoever knows how long, Squadron 42 releases, and then we already have the Nyx system, so they would be probably working on something else. I would think Terra, maybe, but when it's ready, they open the Odin Nyx jump hole, and then boom, we have our 4th, right? Stanton, Pyro, Nyx, yeah, Odin. We would have our 4th star system right there, probably within a couple of years. And then following closely behind that, I think would be Terra, but who knows? I'll talk about that more in the future. That's not what this is all about. That's just to say this was a surprising inclusion in the progress tracker, and I'm glad they're working on it already. It's all art, it's not design, it's not engineering, but it's something. The 42 in Squadron 42 is the year of the release. Is it? I thought it was the year of beta. We may have more if the new studio dedicated planets hires all staff by the end of this year. I don't think it will, but that's a good point. In 2 years' time, whenever Squadron 42 is coming out, and we get Odin, by the time we get Odin, I'll say this, by the time we get Odin and Star Citizen, that new studio that they're starting will most definitely be well on their way to working on other systems. They're probably the studio that's going to make Terra, honestly. But I think they said they're planning on trying to hire all staff for that new studio in the next 3 years, either 3 or 2 years. So they're going to have, it's going to be a little while. I don't think they're going to do that this year. I think with all the complications going on right now, with the pandemic going on, and with the complications of relocating people to another country, I think that studio is not going to be running at any sort of reasonable capacity for most of this year, and probably not doing a ton of work until next year, because they still have to train all the employees, hire them, onboard them, relocate. It's going to be a lot of work. So I've just decided to like push that studio out of my head until next year. Feel like Chris Roberts is going to have his fingers deep in the building of Terra Prime. I could definitely see that, yeah. If I was Chris, I would. If I was Chris, honestly, people talk about how he's a micromanager. If I was Chris, I'd be micromanaging the shit out of this process. Can I say that? I bleeped it. It didn't count. If I was Chris, I would be micromanaging the absolute shit out of this project. There we go. I would be touching everything, and that's why I don't do big things like this. I very much would want to like make sure everything is perfect, and it would be hard not to do that. But I do think he'll be involved in the making of Terra. Yeah, I think we could also be expecting the Magnus system as well fairly soon. Let me show you guys that. And I know some people are going to be real excited about that, particularly people like my good friend Drazen. So Magnus here is the home of Drake Interplanetary. It is a system that was specifically the planet that the Drake Interplanetary is on. Is a system that used to be shipyards for the UEE. They used to use these places to build all their ships out for the military, and then they pulled out and they went to other places like Terra, like Sol, and this place kind of fell into the dumps. It became a center of crime, smuggling, drug trafficking, slaves, all that kind of stuff, and it was just not a great place to be. Drake Interplanetary moved in there not too long ago, and it started to resurface. It's starting to become a better place to be and to work. More businesses are popping up, and the planet is improving. I think that's going to make for a very, very cool landing zone and a cool system to be a part of, in the sense that it's going to be like Pyro. There's going to be a ton of lawlessness. It's going to be a dangerous place to be, but at the same time, you're going to have a lot of pushback from local security, local factions, organizations, Drake themselves, businesses are going to be trying to push back to make the place more safe. That's going to mean we're going to get a ton of good cargo work there. We're going to get a ton of good security, mercenary, bounty hunting work there. And it's also just going to be an interesting place to try and fit in if you're a more lawful player. It also, I guess, works in line with Drake, right? Who expected Drake to set up their headquarters where a bunch of criminals were? I'm flabbergasted. Detroit in 27th century. Oh boy. Yeah, man. The business Tomat t-shirt, right? If Drake was in a real city today, it would be Detroit. Is that the case? I like where your head's at. Where would Origin be if it were a real company today? What city would they be in? I'm thinking Cologne in France, or Cupertino in California. Dubai, San Francisco. Cupertino, San Francisco is like almost the same thing. The concept art for that planet looks pretty. Which planet? The one I was just showing? This? Cologne in Germany. I say Cologne in France because that's where they are in the lore. Origin is it started out on the Rhine in Cologne, France. Singapore. Hesperia, California. I don't know where that is. Paris. Squadron 42 is the legendary volunteer unit assigned to the UEE's Paul Steed of the 2nd Fleet. Oh yeah, Cologne is in Germany. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Oh my fucking gosh. I'm so sorry. That's a horrible mistake. It's not in freaking France. I thought that sounded wrong. I was like, Cologne, France. I said it twice because I was like, nah, that's not right. Cologne, France. I'm so sorry to everybody who is in Cologne, or who goes to Gamescom, or who lives in Germany. My humblest apologies. Yeah, the poor Germans. We got a lot of Germans here too. I'm gonna get canceled. What else is here though? Pyro, obviously, we all expected Pyro. It looks like this is completing the initial foundational work needed to implement it into the game. So I think Pyro, given this timing, if it doesn't slip, they expect or hope Pyro to be in the December patch of this year. Will that happen? We're gonna have to wait and see what's going on with server meshing. I don't know if that's gonna happen, honestly. But it sounds like what they're trying to do here. Do not expect this to be bigger and better than Stanton when it comes in. They're talking about the initial foundational work. So probably they want Pyro to be at the level of what Stanton is right now when it comes in. I don't expect it to be a step up from Stanton. I expect it to be as polished as Stanton is when we get Orison. Let's say that. Both systems, for years, we'll see improvements after that. We gotta talk about that too, because there's a lot of work they need to do on Stanton after the system is complete. R-Corp is almost entirely different from what it's supposed to be. Lorville has to be expanded. Microtech obviously has to have a lot more done with ice caves and stuff like that. And then Crusader, well, we don't even know what Crusader needs yet, but there are things that they're going to need to do in the future for these planets. And these cave improvements actually might be, I don't know. They don't mention that they're going to do icy caves or lava caves or just caves of other materials here. But I would actually expect them to slip that into this. I do think that they're working on it. They talked about it before they even launched the first iteration of caves. They said shortly after they wanted to work on ice caves for Microtech and stuff like that. So clearly that got pushed back and they couldn't work on it at the time. But I do think that if they're working on cave improvements for sizes, is that something else they have also showed before? I do think that they're going to definitely work on the materials in the caves as well. And maybe even some NPCs in those caves. I think I remember seeing something about that. Because they've talked about that as well too. They've talked about a lot. They've talked about a lot. I think I have some footage here if you guys will give me one moment. I might be able to find it. I have some footage of the new caves that they're working on. Actually, let's go to... Gosh, where did I go over that? Was it in the newest video I made? Did I put footage of the new caves in there? Either way, it's there. It's somewhere. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. So I want to show you guys this. For anybody who hasn't seen these new caves, this is my YouTube channel. Welcome. Let's get rid of this. Videos. We're going back in time, folks, to right here. Yeah, no problem, Shepard. Glad to have you. Sergeant Donut, I am a tomato without the E. Thank you very much. All right. So I have a whole section here. As you can see, this is when is this? I think I have the time on here. This is like way back. This is back in the day. This is 2019. Mid 2019, they already had the design, the white box design for these sort of sinkhole kind of caves. Yeah, see, May 2019, full-on sinkhole caves. They were already working with these designs. So clearly they put this on the back burner, but they know what they're doing. They know what they want. They know how to do it. They just have to do the work. So no doubt in my mind that we'll be seeing these when they're supposed to be done. Okay, small doubt in my mind, but that's because this is CIG. There has to always be a small doubt. Would love to fly a small ship into a cave. Waiting for the capital shipyard on Crusader. Yeah, that'll be very cool to have that little the whole shipyard on Crusader. I wonder if they're gonna have big transportation jobs there, since they're gonna need so much metal moved in and out of that place. Yeah, Night City is my background. Just chilling. I love that place. What else is there? We gotta wrap this up in a little bit, guys. What else do you guys want to see? Dynamic missions, dynamic events. I went over that already. The Akiro cluster is going to be big on Pyro, I guess. This is, so like I said earlier, while they're preparing Pyro for initial implementation. Where was that? It was Orison, just Q2. Okay. Yeah, so they're finishing the initial foundational stuff for Pyro, and it looks like the Akiro cluster is finishing around that same time. So there will be some more space activity, it looks like, than we get in Stanton. That's good. That's an amendment to what I said earlier. It will be a little bit better in Stanton that we get some bespoke locations like this. I hope. Yeah, okay. You guys remember at the beginning of this video when I was talking about how some things have work being done, but clearly there's work being done in other places? This only has art happening for 2 quarters. They're gonna have to do the engineering and design at some point. Either this isn't in the original part of the Akiro clusters and Nyx. Well, there you go. That explains it. I was gonna say either this isn't the initial part of Pyro, since the initial part of Pyro is clearly ending much further down the line, or there was just more work being done that they didn't have on here. But this is for Nyx, so they're making this now and then leaving it for later. Stanton asteroids, bigger asteroids. That'll be good. Small home outposts. This is probably in line with the homesteads we've seen. Hopefully that brings more than just a location. Spawn closets are big. That means we'll get a more dynamic NPC population, which is good, and I think that's coming in 3.13. What do I think are some of the hidden tasks? Like, who was it that was saying this? Somebody was saying this previously. I think it was Super Mac Bro. That when we look at these unannounced tasks, we don't know if it's unannounced in the idea that we have no clue what it is, or they just haven't announced that they're working on it yet. That distinction would be very nice, because I really want to know if this is something that they just haven't told us about at all, that like we could be hearing about in Q2, or is this, I don't know, the Vulcan? Like obviously it wouldn't be here because this is live mission content, but like maybe this is quantum missions along quantum routes, right? Like what if it's that? We've had that on the roadmap before. We know it's coming, we just don't know when. Or this one's going to be done in Q1 and it's unannounced, so that means that it's not on the release view. Clearly it's not in the released view, but is it something that we've seen before? And this is why, like, back last year, before we got this progress tracker, whenever I would do my monthly reviews, or really any time, I would tell you guys, don't use the roadmap to tell you what's coming. Use the monthly reports and the ISC episodes, because they show you stuff, they talk about stuff in the monthly reports that are not on the roadmap, and clearly might not be on the progress tracker either. So it's definitely an overall view of the project you have to know what's going on, and that's what I want to bring you guys. I want to review what's happening with this, what's going on with the monthly reports, and what's going on with ISC every week. So I'm on that for you guys, so you don't have to do it, but don't depend on any one of these things separately. Any updates to Theaters of War? Not that I know of. I haven't seen any. I hope it does come soon, though. I hope it will give people a lot more to do in their spare time, and it'll also allow for people to jump in and play Star Citizen for an hour without spending all of their time trying to get past glitches. Because you guys who hang out with me for my Twitch streams, you know that we spend like a solid hour to hour and a half getting anything ever set up. And it could be, yeah, it could be the 400i, I guess, the rumored 400i. But I would expect that to be in the vehicle content area. And I do have a Discord, by the way, for Shepard. I see you're asking in the chat. You can see my Discord. I don't know if I have any. Let's see if I have a command in this chat. I don't. That's rather annoying, isn't it? I do have a Discord, and you can see it. It's down in the video description here. So for anybody who's watching on YouTube, my Discord is down in the video description. You can use that to come hang out with us. You can use that, honestly, to hang out with me on these live streams. Come in here and talk with me while we're doing this. You can also use it to party up with other people who are playing. You can find groups of people who are interested in the same stuff as you are. We have fans of Cyberpunk in there, Halo, Star Citizen, Satisfactory. We have fans of tons of games in there. This is a Discord that is focused on Star Citizen, but covers all kinds of sci-fi stuff. And when you do get in there, we have roles that you can assign yourself for whatever you do in game: security, farming, bounty hunting, mining, transporting, refining, anything that you want to do in game, just about, besides like piracy stuff. You can pick a role for yourself to do that in the Discord. In fact, let me just show you. So this is our Discord. This will be real quick. I'm gonna not show you guys all these people. So if you come to roles right here, you see we have all of these roles that you can pick: photographers, explorers, miners, bounty hunters, farmers, engineers, racers. And you can select this, and then you show up in our Discord server under what you want to be known as. It's just a little fun thing we do, and we'll be refactoring it soon to be more inclusive and more refined and fancy, but for now, that's what we do. So you can go over there if you want and hang out with us, play with us, and do whatever. But yeah, to answer your question, yes, I have a Discord, and I'm very passionate about it. Guys, I think you can also talk to Drazen. Yes. What else is there that we can look at that's like not expected? I know you Constellation Taurus people out there are celebrating, and I know you people who like tonk over tank are celebrating. People are excited for the Starlifter. Third-person camera improvements are nice. I hope that rolls over to the director mode, because they need to improve that. Ground vehicles V2 will be good, especially for the Daymar rally. Shout out to you guys. I'll be covering that, by the way, for Imperial Geographic. If you don't know, if you've never seen it, I gotta plug my stuff, guys. If you've never seen it, because I know a lot of people don't know about this, and then I show them and they're very interested. You can't sign up anymore, but you can watch it happen. I will be covering it It'll be happening at the end of this month, but we have this, the Daymar rally is, I made this documentary last year for Imperial Geographic. We covered the whole thing. We interviewed players. We conducted interviews on players in the game. We actually were on the ground with them as well, covering everything that happened. So if you want to see that, it's a very good event. It's a very cool event. It'll be happening in a couple weeks. So I'd suggest you check that out. It's called the Daymar Rally. But what else is there? Vehicle to vehicle loadout spawning. I covered that. That's going to be very useful. Culling and streaming exteriors and interiors for ships. That's going to be cool, guys. This basically means, so on top of this, there's this, and then there is this multi-grid SDF. What these two things are going to do combined, they're being worked on towards the end of the year. These are going to allow for ships to break apart and still be ships. So derelicts will still be ships, right? But also this means that you will technically be able to shoot a hammerhead enough to break it in half, and then people will still be alive on that ship and able to move around, escape. You can still go onto that ship, find things that were on that ship, explore it as if it was a derelict. That's what this is in line for. I can't say that once these are done, that's going to be possible, but that's what this work is meant for. The game engine will no longer render the interiors and exteriors of ships when not required. So this allows for the game to decide, okay, we need to render the interior of this ship because it's a derelict, people are going to be on it. And this one is going to say, enable the interior of the ship to follow the exterior, allowing capital ships to split in two. Meaning now the interior will be able to split in half as well as the exterior, and you'll be able to board the ship. But that's going to be really cool stuff as well. Escape pods will have a use. Yes, exactly. And for those of you who have watched my recent Idris review here on this YouTube channel, you can see on the interior of the Idris, they do have escape pods that are already there. They're not functional, but they're there. They're actually just the back section of an Argo personnel transporter. They just use that same exact section, plug it into the side of the Idris, and call it an escape pod. Is there anything else? Charge and drain. That'll be good. That'll allow us to open doors manually. I mean, that's not the that's not the only thing. That's just a cool feature and the first thing that comes to my mind. But that will allow for us to like charge and drain certain features that normally are powered but may lose power because they're being shot out. That's actually happening probably in Q3. We got cutting. We got the cutting attachment a long time ago and haven't got to do much with it. So this is nice and will no doubt be worked into salvage, as you can see here. Cutting starts in Q2 but goes into Q3 and lines up perfectly with salvaging starting at the beginning of Q3 and moving forward. So we may seek salvage at Q4 with additional cutting improvements to the cutting multi-tool. So Jonathan, we talked a little bit about ships. We didn't focus too much on it. We talked about the whole series coming up, the Starlifter, the Xi'an ship, but that's mostly it. There are a couple other things, the going gold standards, the Redeemer's coming as well, and then the MPUV is going gold, but not much about ships besides that. What was I gonna say? So if salvage does come in Q4, let's close with this. Let's look at all of the different gameplay that's coming to the game, and I say that with quotes because this is a lot of this is gameplay, but there is a certain there's a certain amount of people, no hate by the way, I understand where you're coming from. There's a certain amount of people who do not consider gameplay to be gameplay unless it is new and it is some sort of a career. So let's look at what you guys might be able to expect in the next, let's say, year and a half, just to be safe in terms of that gameplay that you guys want. Scanning improvements. We've seen multiple cards on the progress tracker right now about scanning improvements and what's going to be done there. Clearly, exploration is being talked about. I said it in a video earlier last year. I think exploration as a career path will be viable in the next couple of years, and I think that the basic form of it will be available in the game this year. So we'll see. Storing data as a scanner may be possible this year. That's exploration. We've got mop and bucket, janitor. No, I'm kidding. We won't do that one. So we've got exploration, harvest and minables. Nah, I think that'll probably factor into exploration a little bit. Reputation gates on its own are going to expand every career path, right? Because now we're going to have progression in our career paths separate from just making money. That's already huge. You can already cut open doors now. Yeah, you can cut open doors now, but that's it. Maybe door locks is the right way to say it. Whatever you call that prototype that they showed with all the security stuff and shooting lights out. Right. Yeah, which I included in my video yesterday as well. Essentially, that's probably in line with actually something called the security system V0, which I don't see here, or V0, whatever you want to call it. We'll get to that though. See, and that's the thing. That's why I can't say, and this is part of my rant from December, I can't call that stuff gameplay, because gameplay is what you get from these features, right? Like security network isn't a career path. It's not gameplay, but it's going to create gameplay. It's most definitely going to create gameplay, and it's going to add to probably something like piracy, I guess. Maybe some of the bounty hunting and merc stuff, but this is the first step towards us being able to take guns into cities and having them, you know, check us to make sure we don't have more than a pistol, or check us to make sure we don't have drugs in our backpack, stuff like that. So that's not necessarily a career path, but it does add to them. Bounty Hunter V2, so more career path gameplay for you. So that's 2. We've got Explorer, we've got Bounty Hunter. I want to say Piracy with the things like Security System and Prison V3, but we'll leave that out just to be conservative about it. It's game system. The gameplay is what you do with these game systems, how they interact with them. Yeah, I feel you on that one. I can get behind that one, Shifty. Refinery overlays, no. Dynamic environment, jump points, those are big. And they're done, it looks like, is this engineering as well? No, just art and design. So they might not have done engineering on this. That's interesting. They must not know, unless they've done the engineering, because we can't have Pyro without jump points, right? And they're saying Pyro might be done by the end of the year if we get server meshing, so it's important to understand that. Thought they already showed a functional jump point in ISC. The things that they show in, I think you might be referring to CitizenCon last year. The things they show in CitizenCon are generally mock-ups. They're working, but they're not working in the same way that they could in the PU. So they probably got it working in like a very controlled environment with a single system with like a lot of tape and band-aids. This is probably talking about the actual final full implementation, right? Kind of like how we got to see, you know, Arcor beforehand, and we got to see Hurston beforehand, and different stuff like that. More? No, Squadron 42 art won't be in here. So engineering, yeah, it could be in progress, and they just don't have it up here. We don't really know. This isn't foolproof, you know. There's a ton of caveats with this. Things may be on here, they may not. They may not be on here in full. So this is not an answer to everything that's happening this year. I want to keep making that clear. This is not everything. But this gives us an idea. They're at least working on art and design, so engineering is all that they would need to do if this is all the engineering and design, or the art and design they have to do. And I imagine they must already be doing engineering, because this is cutting it close. This is 1 quarter between them being done with this stuff and the potential of Pyro, or at least server meshing being done. So, yeah. Such a scam, right? Freaking mocking up stuff. God. Sue them. Alrighty. Derelict and damage pass. This will add to exploration, I guess, maybe. Or investigation. Is investigator a career path? I don't actually know. Squadron 42, system services. Quantum simulation. Oh my god, why didn't we talk about that? That is huge, guys. That is freaking huge. The quantum system, the quantum system is essentially what's going to drive the whole economy. This is going to change. I didn't put this in my video yesterday because I don't think it's going to be finished this year. I'll make an entirely different video about this, but this is going to be one of the biggest games. This is a pillar of the game. We had OCS 64 bits, server network, some kind of refactor, server something, I don't know. Streaming, we had streaming, object container streaming on the client and the server meshing, iCache, persistence. Pretty sure quantum is in there. Yeah, okay. Quantum is not, yeah, you're right. Quantum isn't the same as quanta. Quanta is just the, let's call it the currency used in the quantum system. But quantum itself is a very, very big deal. This is going to help them to completely change the way it feels to live in the game. Things are going to be much more reactive. Quantum iCache, server meshing, and Vulkan rework. Yeah. So this is a big one, and this deserves its own video. Anything that was a pillar, I didn't put in my video yesterday of what I expect in 2021. Partially because I don't necessarily expect quantum to be in 2021, but also because they deserve their own video. So, hey, Blizz, thank you for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate that, man. Eduardo, you as well. Thank you for subscribing. And Manthos and Nikos, thank you guys all for subscribing to the channel. For some reason, those those alerts just decided to roll in. Recipe TDD. This will be interesting as well for commodity trading. This will kind of work. This is probably part of the quantum system rework. But we're getting distracted, guys. Data core deserializer. What is this? See, this is what happens when I look at this thing. I just read forever and speculate and daydream. Reputation, cargo system. I was talking about this earlier. Cargo system refactor. Allowing purchased cargo to be moved around, taken off cargo grid, stuff like that. I think this will also probably lead to bigger boxes. If you noticed, in the tractor beam video we got in ISC last year, we saw bigger boxes in cargo. The Starlifter's coming. The whole series is coming. They got to do it soon. iCache is a big one. But we are looking for career paths. Does that mean cargo can finally be moved in the ship and not just teleported? Probably. I imagine they're probably doing cargo timers as well. That was on the roadmap, wasn't it? Wasn't that on the roadmap for like early this year? Essentially, we won't be moving things back and forth from cargo station to ship anymore. Cargo timers coming in. Yeah, so that'll probably be part of the cargo refactor. Sorry. We seem to have frozen. There we go. Oh, look at that. That was pretty. I have no idea what happened there. Where were we? God, we just lost everything. Okay, reputation. Yeah. All this stuff. Hull degradation. That doesn't really factor into repair. Space mines and bombs. This just factors more into combat. The Taurus factors into cargo running. Capacitors probably factor into engineering gameplay, which we also know is being worked on. So right now we've got, what do we got, guys? Exploration, piracy, bounty hunting. There's one more towards the top that I already forgot about. healing, medic, and we'll stick to that so far. So exploration, bounty hunting, piracy, medic, engineer. Those are the 5 career paths so far that are getting work this year. Don't know if we're getting them, but they are getting work. This is more of the engineering game, or the exploration game we'll play we talked about, and everybody's gonna be happy for this one. It's a small one, but an appreciated one. You basically, your cargo deck won't lift your ship off the ground anymore. There's the healing. I swear there was a salvage. Was there not salvage on here? Who am I? Who am I that, like, what? Yeah, there it is. How did I miss this? Oh, it was on the screen. I was talking about it. It was already on the screen. Okay, salvage. So that's six professions. That is 6 game loops, 6 professions, 6 career paths that are receiving work this year, guys. So next time you hear somebody say they're not working on gameplay, and you ask them what gameplay is, and they say, oh, it's something I could do for a job. It's being worked on. We don't know if it's going to be in the game, but it's being worked on, and they have the work finishing this year. Healing, exploring, piracy, bounty hunting, salvaging, and I already forgot the 6th one. I forgot the 6th one. I'm sorry. That is a good point, though. You just asked refueling and repair. Where? It doesn't look like it's on here, which is interesting because they did have refuel, repair, and restock kiosks on the roadmap last year, and they also are working on ordnance restocking this year, which is, I think, going to be in 3.14. I don't believe it's in 3.13. The rework is here. Does that rework include... Oops. No, so that doesn't include the restocking. I think repair, refuel, and restocking might be something unannounced. It may be one of those things, because that's something that I don't expect to be after this year. They definitely need to make additions and changes to the restocking and repair and refuel feature. I think that'll probably be this year, and that probably is unannounced or on the other part of the progress tracker. So we got about 30, I think 70% of the progress tracker right now, and we've got 6 professions that are already being worked on this year. So let's keep that in mind moving forward, and keep a very close eye on those things. I'll keep giving you guys updates on this YouTube channel, because those are the most important things, I think, to most of you guys. When will I be able to do what I want to do in the game? So I'll keep you guys updated on that. We will start to do more of these sort of progress tracking live streams. I think every month we'll do it. Just, sit back, talk about it, chat with you guys. We can start having people come into the Discord channel, and we can chat with them about it, have some guests on here. I do want to start doing some YouTube streams that include bringing other people on here and talking, kind of like you see on SC Leaks or Info Runners or Soul Citizens, stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think of that possibility in the comments or here in the chat, or hop into the Discord if you want to be somebody who comes on here and talks and, discusses this kind of stuff live with me. Let me know, and give me some feedback on this. This was very not last minute. I planned this earlier this week, but this was something that I wanted to do because I could not fit this into a whole video. I released something last night that I thought was sort of representative of what I want to see here, but it wasn't the whole story. There's a lot more going on this year than what I showed in my other videos. So wanted to sit down with you guys for an hour and a half or so and talk about this kind of stuff, and set the stage for us to do this moving forward as we all sort of follow progress together. You know how it is. We're all interested in this together. We just want to see stuff come along and know what's going on. So I am hoping that I can become your #1 source to keep up with that kind of stuff. And I'm hoping that you guys decide to follow the channel, subscribe here, join the Discord, and keep up with all the stuff that we're doing in Star Citizen and everything else. If you like this, I do want to say we do have different ways you can support me. You can become a YouTube channel member, which allows you to get emotes. I mean, I know that's not the most important thing, but you can get these little cute tomato emotes, which are a lot of fun. You also get access to my videos early. You get exclusive cinematics, so I can actually show you that right now. And you get additional roles and things that you can do in the Discord. I'm not going to show you all of what's on this screen. So if you look here, you can see this video is available only to YouTube channel members and patrons, as well as a few other. There are a few videos over here that are like that. This one's only available to YouTube channel members. So those are the kind of perks you can get for becoming a channel member. You can also get over on Patreon. Both of these places are better than Twitch to support me at, but they help me to do ship giveaways. They help me and my wife to support each other. This is hopefully going to be my full-time job. So that's what we're shooting for. And we just really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here, for supporting and watching, just for being enthusiastic about my stuff. It honestly blows my mind every time. And thanks for being enthusiastic about Star Citizen. I love that we share an interest, and it's like such an easygoing. I mean, if you don't freak out about the fact that it's I don't know, taking a long time or spends a lot of money, or you think it's a scam, or like the guy in charge of the company bought a big house. It's a pretty easygoing and like civil hobby. And I just love having something like this that I can like follow casually and chill with you guys and talk to you guys about and play with you guys. So let's keep that going. I love that. Thank you everybody once again for being a part of this. I will see you next week. Thank you for coming to my tomato talk. See you guys later. I love you guys.